I was waiting at the streetcar stop, trying to get downtown, when a woman runs on up and she sits herself down. She had a smile on her face.
Well, you felt, as you said before, you felt like you had everything that a guy could ask for here as far as success goes in your mind.
Yeah, I was building my own I was on my own path. You know, I wasn't gonna like just not to gamble. Yeah, we could talk about it more. Not to just gamble, getting a record deal like everyone else gets a record deal and they lose a record deal. And who the fuck? I'm not moving to LA for that. No fucking way. I'm here. I got family here. I've got people here who like me.
Was there any trepidation on your part because you weren't familiar with these people that were promising you the world?
Yeah, I just didn't believe it. I just in the moment I wasn't. I'm not that desperate.
Sure.
I wasn't. You know,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I might have chased millions, but I ain't chasing carrots.
Sure. Once you kind of solidified that in your mind and you made your decision and told them that, we also discussed, and I think this is where we ended it, you had a lot of friends and associates in the industry kind of suggesting that you do an acoustic album.
Yeah.
And that's where the last part.
That's right. Yeah, because we had Seth, my son, and then I couldn't go out and go produce a long record, but I wanted to put something out for people.
Sure. So you had named the albums for everybody. You had 2 albums.
So I had my first record, which was my debut Chris Leblanc Band record that I put out in 1995. And then the second record I put out was Chris Leblanc Band Talent Show, which was 1998. And both of those records and kind of what was happening with the band drew the interest of the record company people. A few different labels were checking it out, and RCA was the one that was like, hey, they flew me out to LA along with my band and set up the showcase, and then you know, I knew I was about to be a dad, so then became a dad, and then that's when I recorded the performance record, which is my Son of the South acoustic record, and that kind of changed my view on everything, really, of what I wanted to do.
How so?
Well, I went from like previously recording records in a studio with like tape machines and mixers to like to going to making a record. You know, I had a suggestion from some of my friends that were in the music business that were going, dude, why don't you just like, they'd see me go out and do these acoustic records or play acoustic and do some of these things, and why don't you do like a solo acoustic-y performance kind of record?
Were you doing that live already?
Yeah, I was already.
And so they were seeing that and they wanted to capture that.
Right, they were like, dude, that's where, you know, people dig where you are, and so I did that. I literally, that was in the time of where, you know, my buddy says, look, I can bring my computer and it's Pro Tools, bring my laptop and my computer, and we can set up where you want to set up. So I went downtown Baton Rouge and set up in a little chapel, a little church that they had down there, and I set up on the pulpit, up on there, and it sounded cool in this room, and I was like, okay. And I literally, we set up a few microphones, and I cut basically 2 or 3 takes of each tune. Mm-hmm. I just sat up there and played, did some different instruments. I'd play an acoustic here, I'd play my slide guitar, metal slide guitar, a couple of different slide guitars, but and literally like in 3.5 hours made a record. Mm-hmm. It was a performance record. What we did, I say 3.5 hours, I was in the middle of having the reason why I wanted to do this was because I didn't have a bunch of time to go and devote to like producing a record, having a bunch of all of that going on, and I have a kid, a brand new baby.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Did you do it? Did part of you want to do it because it made sense to you where you were at in your life at that time?
Yeah, it all made sense. It just kind of, in the moment, I was like, you know what? I cannot go and live in the studio, and I can't go do that right now.
Yeah.
And so that was part of my reasoning behind it. I wanted to put out I wanted to do something cool like that, and so yeah, man, I went and did it and cut a bunch of tunes, and it turned into, we picked the best tunes, and then with some help from my friends who were a couple of different producer guys, and they mixed it, and which is not a lot of, it wasn't really difficult to mix, it's just me and guitars, but it really made sense. And we mixed and mastered the record, and it turns out that record was the one that was like, just everyone was like, wow, man, this is you.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, exactly.
The easiest one for you to make.
The easiest record for me to make was the most honest.
Yeah.
And most honest, wasn't a bunch of studio sound and blah, blah, blah. It was a performance record.
Yeah.
And it's probably one of my favorite. I just love what it is. It was like it just sounded really honest, and I believed it.
Yeah.
And then, when you listen to it, you can believe it.
It may not be super relevant, but I was going to ask how you negotiated some of the characteristics of that church. Because, some of them are good, some of them are bad.
Yeah. I was actually going to church at the church there, and they have a big room, and then they had a little smaller chapel, and that's kind of where I was. I went into the little smaller one.
Oh, okay.
It was just like a little smaller. It was not too big, but it was pretty cool, man. That it was like they were cool enough to say, "Sure, man, come on in and do this."
Yeah.
And I was playing the blues and playing some. I did some of my on this record. I did some of my tunes, and then I also recorded some classic tunes, Louisiana 1927, which was one of the tunes on there, and a couple of blues, Crossroads. I did a Robert Johnson. I did a Taj Mahal song.
Cool.
There's some cool tunes on it. That's really it's a good listen.
Yeah.
And it turned into the third release that I had put out, which is called Son of the South. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of went on that for a little while, and then at the same time, after that was done, then I was writing more tunes and kind of developing more band tunes. So I was like, man, I want to put out another band record.
Yeah, I was going to ask where your headspace was at exactly, because I know hearing you talk about it, like the birth of your son became the centerpiece for your life at that time. So
it really was.
It's going to just inherently rearrange all other aspects of your life. So how, and I was kind of wondering, like, where you saw yourself in 5 years before the birth of your son is not where you saw yourself in 5 years after the birth of your son. So your direction changes. So one of the things that you did was put out the performance record at the behest of friends and people in the industry. But how were your goals augmented? What changed about where you saw yourself going from there as a musician?
Yeah. You know, as a musician, man, I was still very committed to my work, committed to going out and playing, creating. I still wanted to create songs and let that be a relevant piece of, you know, I would always go out and play my tunes, but then also, you know, play cover tunes that kind of went along with what I sounded like.
Okay.
You know?
And your performances mainly were solos at that time? Or?
No, I did both. I was doing both still. I would do some acoustic gigs, and then I would do band gigs. I would kind of mix them up just because I wanted to work. And in a place like that, being able to do a few different things kept me from getting just stuck in playing in the same band with the same guys or doing the same thing. At the same time, I was writing some, you know, the band. I would write tunes and get ideas, and then I'd try them out on the band, and then we'd be like, okay, this is sticking, this tune is sticking, and then this tune's sticking, and I was writing. So I had ended up getting like a handful of tunes. So this is, you know, early 2000s. This is after the release. I've got 3 records out. It kind of legitimized. A lot of people looked around and were like, wow, you know, he's working. He's making music. It legitimized what I was doing.
Sure.
Anybody who's got 3 records out,
catalog speaks for you. Yeah, sure.
There's like there's something there.
Sure.
And so, and in the early 2000s, I was still going out. I would have opportunities to go play before, you know, a bunch of people, man. I would go and I was always, you know, either go and get on a festival here, a festival there, opening up for any and everybody, from ZZ Top, Hank Williams Jr., Buddy Guy, Leon Russell, to Bret Michaels.
Wow.
I mean, you know, whoever.
Yeah.
I would go out and would put us in front of anybody.
Sure.
And I'm cool with that. Like I said, I always love being the first music in the room. Everybody's excited to see.
Sure.
You know, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so I had a handful of tunes. I had like probably 7 or 8 tunes that I was like, man, I'm really digging this, you know. And at the same time, the band sounded really good. And we were out playing a bunch of gigs. And so I thought to myself, what would be cool is to kind of like, I saw records as like as just kind of just like a picture of a moment.
Sure.
You know, that's
Absolutely.
kind of what a record is.
Yeah, it's a time capsule.
It is a very much a little timepiece. And so went, you know, started working in my studio in the back and cutting tunes, and the Starshine record. All the studio tracks that are on there, we cut in my room on the Starshine record. And so I had those, but I didn't really have enough tunes that I felt like, do I put out an EP? But I had more songs than you would put out on an EP.
Yeah.
I wanted to put out something full length and then PreSonus, I'd been working with PreSonus Audio Electronics, and they were coming out with a lot of new material and a lot of new products that were interfaces where they were coming out and recording me live. They would come out and test their products by recording my shows live.
This is, because you mentioned, I already know, off camera, you mentioned that you were sponsored by them.
Yeah.
Is this before the sponsorship?
No, this is during.
As a result, during.
Yeah,
Okay.
during, They were coming out and they were like, okay, look, we can, with a laptop and linking together a few interfaces, you can have 24 channels of recording studio wherever you wanted.
Yeah.
And this is, early 2004, 5.
Okay.
And so they came out and recorded my band shows they would come out and record a bunch of band shows. Mm-hmm. And we gathered a bunch of material. And so what I did was I pick and chose some of my favorite tracks that the band had played live.
Yeah.
That were a bunch of my songs that were out on previous records.
Yeah.
Of mine that were like, there's a studio version of some that are on the records, but live the music takes on a whole new thing. And
Sure.
the songs kind of expanded and grew and trimmed the fat on some of them, added fat on some of them.
Yeah.
And so that in turn, with that thought of having these live performances and what the band sounded like, and then some of these studio tracks, that brought to life the Starshine record, which was, I wanted to put out, then it made me, I was like dead set on like doing something that I was like, okay, I'm picking 7 studio tracks that I really dig that we cut in the studio and did this. And then I got like 6 or 7, I don't remember how many, live tracks. Mm-hmm. So that's what the Starshine record is.
Okay.
The first 7 tracks are studio tracks, and then it goes into a live show of Chris Leblanc Band.
Cool.
And so it was like, it's kind of cool. It's like you're hearing these, it's just a lot of good ear candy,
Yeah.
To like go from hearing these studio tracks and these new things that we were putting out to my band actually playing these songs that people were, my fans that were familiar with. They hear these extended tracks of some of these studio these tunes, and man, that was the Starshine record, and that was my 4th release. I put that one out, and then when I put that one out, then all of a sudden it was like in the moment I was putting that record out and kind of being courted by Bill Ham, who was like ZZ Top's longtime manager, and he loves all my music. He loves me.
Cool.
He's like, come out and play with us. So I went out and did ZZ Top.
Nice.
I went out and played in front of 25,000 people before ZZ Top and Hank Williams Jr. and all this, like all of that.
Yeah.
In the moment, I'm like, it was just kind of all these things happen like that you're like, wow, man, this is all. It's all cool, and at the same time,
to say
you're like,
the least.
you're like, wow, it's at the same time, it's different. You're like, I don't think it ever stopped. I don't think my career's ever stopped like building. You know what I mean? I think that if it's, you don't, I like that part of it. I like
Sure.
the part of like, I like that part of my life. It's like a camping trip. Where are you staying next? Okay, we'll find out.
Yeah. I think it's inevitable though, because music is such an integral part of your life, whether you're performing it in front of people or just in the back.
Yeah.
And writing music, which is new, is such a part of your life that you're going to constantly turn over a new leaf, so to speak, because you're still doing this no matter what. It just happens to be in the eye of the public, so things come of it that you don't expect.
It's a living thing.
Yeah.
It's living, and it's like, I want it to, if it's not living, then it's dead, and I don't want my career dead. I want my career, whatever it is, you know, whether you got management or you don't have management, or you got a record deal or you don't have a record deal, or this guy's playing with you, or he's not, or you got this new guy playing with you that's a lot of fun, or you got, you know, it's all of those things that I've always found interesting in bands that I love, music that I love. You know, I love that part of the music industry, and everybody that you dig in music, you know, there's only a few people that you go, okay, well, you know, this was their recipe and they did it a lot. You know? I mean, AC/DC. Yeah. Even with, you know, personnel changes, they made AC/DC records.
Do you feel like, because you've always had covers in your lineup throughout the course of your music career, do you feel like that has helped you along? It kind of, in my eyes anyway, it opens up the audience to hearing you out when it comes to playing your originals. Do you feel like throughout the course of your music career that has aided you in presenting your original music?
Knowing, without a doubt. I mean, everybody who's anybody played some cover music, man. Yeah. I mean, the Beatles. Sure. Ray Charles. Government Mule. Yeah. I mean, Rolling Stones. Led Zeppelin. Yeah. Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, Beatles. The greatest rock and roll bands ever. Yeah. Were fucking cover bands. Yeah. Let's be real. You know? I mean, there's only people go, oh man, I'm not going to play cover music. Well, it might be because you're not good enough to play cover music.
You know what I was about to say?
Because playing cover music, you better be pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I think that...
you know, it shows, watch this. When you go see a band, there's a lot of bands that you go see, and they're great playing their own music. But how do you really fucking get the level of a band when you see them cover a song that you thought was fucking crazy? I think you just played me Green Gasoline. Sure. They're fucking cool, right? Yeah. The first thing I ever saw of this band is them covering Highway Star by Deep Purple, and I'm like, these motherfuckers are ridiculous. They're bad fucking ass. Yeah. That's how you realize these motherfuckers are great. Yeah. They just played Highway Star. You go play Highway Star, motherfucker. Good luck.
Their ability,
their capacity. Badass, bro. Yeah. Yes. Yes. You're like, fuck, dude. That's tough. Yeah. That's how you realize you're like, man, they're badass. Yeah. That, to me, is like the fucking sign of greatness. When someone picks a tune and goes and destroys it. You know, I've seen Government Mule play some of the most badass coverage you've ever. I've seen Black Crowes play the Led Zeppelin catalog with Jimmy Page. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. It's killer. It's like, yes. So to me, yes, I play a lot of cover music because I'm fucking badass at it. Yeah. And I play, I know the words to thousands of fucking killer songs.
Do you feel like there's a time and a place to put your own spin on things, and there's a time and a place to do it precisely as it was done before? What do you prefer? What speaks to you?
I think it's really cool to I think it's really important to in that moment, to if you're going to play a cover song, pick something that's worth playing, that you really think that's either going to, someone's going to go, wow, man, I forgot how much I love that song. Or, wow, they did that. That's badass. You know? And then but you also pick cover songs that you can put your thumbprint on a little bit, that are not outside of your wheelhouse. I'm not going to go play Don't Stop Believing as a cover song. I'm not doing that. Everybody else is doing it. You can go see 5 bands on Bourbon Street every night of the week. Go do that.
Yeah, okay.
Have fun. Good luck.
Yeah.
That's not where I'm at.
Yeah.
Now, you know, if I'm going to play a cover song, it's going to be like a cool Rolling Stones song, or a cool Beatles song, or a cool song by the band, or by an old blues. You know, if I take an old blues tune, that's the beauty of it, is like taking old blues tunes. A Lazy Lester. Lazy Lester was one of my friends, but he was also like super cool. Like his songs were cool. So like I can cover Lazy Lester tunes and his words are funny.
Yeah.
He's got cool words. And you know, that's how I kind of judge picking the tunes that I would dig to do, you know? I mean,
yeah.
There's a lot of, I keep a lot of cover songs in my list because like people tell me, they're like, yeah, we'd rather hear you play them than the originals.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Because it's like, because my thumbprint is, they like my thumbprint. You know? Yeah. How do you say it? There it
right,
is.
Yeah.
You know,
well, you said it.
It's it, you know, it's like,
That's
and
fun.
it's kind of cool like that. I love that someone loves me enough that
Yeah.
they dig that part of it, you know.
Well, I like to your point, I like the idea of looking for the things that aren't covered. I think I don't know, man, we come from a generation where there was a B-side, and we kind of found the gems on the B-sides, you know. And I think when you go to play a cover of someone else's song, you're looking to show somebody else that gem too. Like, you know, maybe not so much remember this, maybe did you even know this was here, and check it out, you know?
Right.
I think that's
Like
kinda
I did it, like, okay, my first record, all my own music. Second record, talent show. There's one cover song on it.
Yeah.
That's a Beatles. That was like, back then, there weren't many people that covered this song. And then later on I heard Government Mule cover it. Okay. And then on my acoustic record, I pulled a bunch of cover tunes that, like, some of them, you might recognize 2 of the cover songs on there. But they're like songs that are like, wow, wherever the song existed in the world, I'm glad it's in my ear bone now.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And then same thing on my Starshine record. All of my own tunes, but I put one cover tune on it. And it's a Jimi Hendrix Spanish Castle Magic.
Sure.
And I did it in the studio, and it's a dope version. It is so killer.
Yeah.
I still listen to it and go like, yes, this is rock and rolled out. You know, it's like, I love it. You know, I'm proud. I'm really proud of all the records I made.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I haven't put out one in a long time, because, you know, people ask me, you know, why haven't you put out another record in a while? And I'm like, go listen to my last records.
Do you feel like you've kind of set the bar high for yourself?
Oh, yeah, bro.
Yeah. Because I know you and I in when we first met, the first episode, whatever, you talked about how you realized after dropping the first one, you're like, I have to meet or exceed this with the second
I have to
one.
follow it up.
Right. Yeah.
No, yeah, that's the reason why it's like I was very much that way. And I mean, it's not a race. It's just that, you know, I've got my own standards, man.
Well, sure.
Of how I want to kind of what I want to put out, you know. And now especially now. There's no race. There's no race to go put out something. Oh, I got to put this out because my fans are waiting on it. No.
Yeah.
Nobody's waiting on nothing. There's billions of songs out there everybody can listen to.
Too many. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of music that I love and listen to that I'm like, you know, I'm not waiting on somebody to put out something. No. If it comes along and I hear it and I love it, I'm like, yay, awesome. Mm-hmm. But like, and especially now, here we are talking about this day and our present, how music is being presented and what's out there. And of course, everybody needs to know that there is no money to be made in releasing records now. There's no money.
Right.
I mean, when I say no, I mean like none.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're Peter Frampton and you have bajillions of listens to a song and you're still making nothing, or you're Pharrell Williams and you have 5 billion, however many streams on a song, and you're not making any money on it, there's no money to be made. But it still costs money to make records. If you go into a studio and you're taking up somebody else's time, I'm paying for somebody else's time.
Yeah.
And so it costs me money to go make a record where I want to go make it and how I want to go make it. So now I'm sitting on a bunch of music that I've recorded over the years, over the last probably 2 years, through COVID, and even just until recently. I'm sitting on over a dozen songs that I've recorded and cut and have not released yet. And I'm going to release those individually. I'm not going to put out a full-length record because nobody cares about a full-length record anymore. It doesn't matter. I've already got full-length records. I want to stretch it out. And someone go, oh, I like that song. And then 3 months later, put out another song and go, oh, wow, I like that one too. And then 3 months later, put out another song.
Sure.
You know, because then I can keep giving music and it stays fresh for a moment. And then, and only then, I might, after the third or fourth one, someone go, wow, I can't wait to hear the next Chris Leblanc song. Probably not, but
yeah,
let's hope, you know. And that's kind of where it is. It's like this whole, you know, what we were talking about previously off camera or off recording is that, you know, there are millions upon millions upon millions of songs available on streaming music right at your fingertips. So when you have everything at your fingertips, why does it feel like you have everything and nothing at the same time?
Yeah, there's no effort involved. There's no.
It's
mindless.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like that's where we're at. Like during COVID, AC/DC puts out a whole new record, but they can't go tour on it.
Right.
That was like a bad move. The world is stopped.
Yeah.
Don't go release a record.
Well,
I'll tell you why. You want to know why? Because I fucking love AC/DC and still have not listened to one song on the fucking record.
Yeah.
Because, okay, I'll get to it whenever. Because you got everything and you got nothing at the same fucking time.
You got it all at once, and kind of to piggyback on what you were saying earlier, that there's no money in putting out an album because the artist, and really traditionally it's been the same way, before streaming and all of that shit.
Yeah.
Their money was in performing.
Yeah.
And that's how they got their money. The album sales, a lot of times the record companies were eating that up anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not as if that part of the landscape has changed. But to be specific to your situation, throughout the course of your life, you've always looked for what was missing. Like when you started, I was like, why you didn't start playing bass? And you're like, well, no, they didn't have any brass. The brass was missing, so I wanted to play a little brass.
Yeah, that's right.
And you knew that if you were going to front your own band later on in life, that you were going to have to find a guitarist, but it was going to be your band, so you wanted to front the band, and guitar was missing kind of from your repertoire, so you decided to get your chops up on guitar. So I feel like now it's not a relevant question, when's your next album going to be released, at least for you, because I feel like you let dictate what's missing. Yeah. And you kind of fulfill that need when you see it's missing. So I think it kind of fits, man.
You see it.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yes.
I think.
Yes, that's it, dude.
And at this point in your life as well, I don't feel like it has to make business sense, because I don't feel like you're nose to the grindstone right now. Like you're not pressed.
No, I'm not.
You just told me, as a matter of fact, let's say it for the camera. You just told me before we started filming, the past 10 weeks in a row. Yeah. Please lay that out just for a second. Just tell me what you told me so that they can hear it.
So truly, for the last 10 weeks in a row, I have gone out. I booked myself out. This is like through April, May, and the first half here in June. I booked myself out 4 and sometimes 6 shows in a week. Mm-hmm. I'll go hit a few acoustic shows here, go hit a couple of band shows on the weekend, or hit a couple of acoustic shows, hit 2 shows in one day somewhere, and then go hit another show the next day. So I'm doing 4 to 6 shows in a week for like 10 weeks straight.
Wow.
That's a lot. Mm-hmm. We could go back and look in my book and I would show you it would be, in 2 months I've probably done, 2.5 months I'll probably have done 50 fucking gigs. But going out and playing, because I'm going playing for people, I'm going try to make a little money and pay my taxes like the rest of Americans do, but go out and play music and bring the medicine to people, bro.
Yeah.
Because music is medicine.
Sure.
Music is medicine, brother. Like, it's my medicine, but I know my medicine. Other people love my medicine. Mm-hmm. They will be at my gig tonight. They will have checked and found out where I'm playing and come and dig it. And I'll play some of my tunes. I'll play some of other tunes. I'll catch up with people. They want to. It's like an age-old thing. It's the song and dance kid.
Yeah.
You know, the court jester.
Sure.
You know, I mean, let's be real. It's like each day goes by, man, and I know that in my life, this has been an incredible journey. But each day goes by, I know it's closer to the end.
Sure.
And the ending is imminent for all of this. I love playing music, but there is an ending. And in the end, I don't want to stand around and go, I wish I'd have played more shows.
Right.
I'm going to look back and go, I played more shows than any motherfucker I know.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You see, because that's where I'm at. I know that it's like what I want to be. It's like it's like a life of service almost, to go out and play music at this level because it is very selfless. It is very.
For all the reasons that we just cited, yeah,
right,
absolutely.
I want to stay home tonight and have drinks and eat steak.
Right.
I'm going to go out and play a gig.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Sure.
So it's like, because I love it, dude. I love this life. I love the music. I love people, man. I really do. I love.
So this really characterizes. It's funny because I was going to say your comfort zone when you said, I'd rather be doing this, but I'm going to do this tonight. But honestly, like you like to say, you're in your wheelhouse when you're doing these gigs, you're playing these gigs. What is you stepping outside of your comfort zone? Is that you pushing you to release the next album, or what is that for you?
Stepping out of my comfort zone would be
within the interest of music.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest parts of stepping out of my comfort zone is to release a lot of the detail and to go play with other people. If I were to go and play, sometimes I'll do it. I'll go out and go. I don't do a lot of gigs outside of my own gigs, but if I do, I got friends of mine who, okay.
So you're just talking about sitting in with somebody else's band?
Well, going out and playing in going out and playing, but not so much sitting in, but like, I'll say this, like Chris Roberts, who plays bass in my band normally, he and Eric Peters, they have a band called South Down Souls. Mm-hmm. That's a cool band. They're cool. Their music is good. Their record is really good. And so it's the three of them. It's Chris and Eric and a drummer. And I know their record. I know a bunch of tunes. And I will go and sometimes just appear as their second guitar player guy, which is kind of cool because people are like, wow, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm in someone else's space right now. And that's getting out of my zone. That's kind of giving up all the power to go sing every song, to go play, choose the tunes, to go everything, and be the center of this view in the moment of music.
Yeah.
I'm just the guitar player.
Right.
And sing some backgrounds once in a while. That's
letting
kind of
somebody else drive.
Letting someone else drive, and I'm just a passenger for a little while.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool, because I hadn't done that in a long time. I did it years ago, but I've always been the dude in the last 25 years, 30 years, from the time I started my band 30 years ago. It's me. It's everything. I make everything. Book the shows, pick the songs, sing the songs, play the songs, call the songs.
Yeah.
Boom, boom. Get in the truck and let's fucking go. That's where we're going. And so I think to answer your question a little clearer would be me giving up control and power in a musical setting is kind of stepping out of.
Yeah.
Because I'm comfortable like under the microscope, under the gun, ready to perform. Boom. Same thing, like going into the studio, working in the studio. You put me under the gun and I perform. That's it. When I go into a session, when I go cut in a session, I'm not afraid to say it. When I go cut in a session, when I leave the session, everybody's fucking happy because I bring it, bro. When it comes to a session, I bring it.
Yeah.
And I mean, whether it's playing guitar or going to sing on something, or someone wants me to go do a reading, I'll go do voiceover work. My buddy's got a ad agency that I'll go and do voiceover work that a lot of people don't know that I've done voiceover work and all kind of different stuff, you know, and yeah, I bring it.
Your days of being in school band, I think, really instilled that in you, the discipline.
Yes.
And it's, you know, it's funny, because I mean, as a parent, I've seen this. It's like the last thing a kid wants is structure and discipline, but they need it the most.
It's the best. It's the best. It's the last thing I thought I needed, and it's the first thing I needed.
Yeah,
because when you're a kid,
you stuck with you now all these years because you understand when it's time to.
Oh, it's such
to, like you say, drill. You know what I mean? So where are you planning on going from here? I mean, you're comfortable right now. You're I would say coasting, so to speak, because you really you're putting in a lot of time.
Yeah.
But you're in your comfort zone.
I feel, I know.
So when's the next time you think?
Yeah, I know.
Not so much sitting in somebody else's band's comfort zone, but you know, when's the next time? Because honestly, releasing this work that you've been sitting on is going to be kind of out of your comfort zone because you're going to have to relinquish some sort of control to kind of direct the way that you distribute it.
That's right.
It's a different world now.
I believe that. I mean, yeah, you're so. I'm so glad that we become friends and that you really see a lot of where I'm at, man.
Sure.
You know, it's thank you, bro.
You're welcome.
I made it because it's like not everybody knows like what it really takes.
Yeah.
To get to where a person what it takes to get here. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, no.
It's like it's unbelievable, like what it took, and just to like maintain and yeah, like you know, personally in my life, like you're saying, I'm at this place, man, where like the comfort zone actually, like I am in a bit of a comfort zone. Like I went through what's been comfortable for me for years is to go and perform, to go and play. I've been through a lot, man. I was in a long-time relationship. I was married for almost 25 years. I was with that person for almost 28 years. I get divorced. After that, I mean, it was just a blow to me. It was. I'm not gonna lie. It was a blow.
Sure.
It was really, really tough. And without going into detail, just saying that a divorce is, and your family breaking apart and all this stuff is like a rejection that no one wants to feel, and no one wants, and it's changed me in a lot of ways. It's put me in, it put me in a survival mode. So these last 2 years have really thrown me into survival mode, which is kind of a comfort zone. I'm like, okay, now all I got to do is concentrate on work, drill, and I like that. Through that loss makes you, I think through the loss, it really made me realize a lot of the person that I am. I can only imagine with enough humility in what I'm saying that I might have not have been the easiest person to be married to, only because of the level of work and what I had to go do to go make a living. But everybody's got to make a living somehow.
Sure.
And however you go do it and however long it takes you to go do it and what you got to go do to make a living, as you know so well, there's a price. And when you have mouths to feed and kids, and you go pay the price.
Yeah, that's what the sacrifice is.
That's what the sacrifice is, brother.
Yeah.
And that's what a man does. And that's what I did.
Let me ask you, because the two dates kind of coincide, at least from what I'm hearing. You were writing material after your divorce.
Yeah.
So this material, does it have a different mood than what you published before.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it really is. Some of these things have a yeah, without a doubt, and even some of the brand new stuff that the words that I've been writing are yeah, it's just in that place where, I mean, you can't help what's coming out of your brains, and oftentimes, like, my process of writing is different maybe than a lot of other people's, where I'm always on writing words, lines. I keep notes in my phone, and I'll go back and I remember this note, so I'll go back and add on to that piece because it'll fit. You know, you're plugging holes, and then I'll apply music. So yeah, bro. A lot of recent words and material that I've written reflects a lot of this thing, and some of it's blues. It's like a roots kind of blues. Some of it's love. You know, a lot of it's love, and then a lot of it's lost, and then a lot of it's mad. A lot of it's fun.
Yeah.
Whatever. You know, it's kind of whatever.
I've always felt like that was a necessary element. It's unfortunate, but I always felt like suffering was a necessary element to kind of conjure up some of the greatest creative works that we've ever seen.
I believe.
I mean, it's a shame, but the cage bird stings. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Suffering, and loss and sadness is always I mean, it's one of the heaviest things we can think of, and so it's just fuel for that.
Sure.
It's fuel for it.
So you're sitting on an album's worth, and I'm trying to frame up like what's going to happen next, because in your mind it's just going to come out at your leisure.
Yeah.
If you had to tell anybody what to expect or when or anything, could you put them in that?
Yeah, I could. I would say that
neighborhood.
Yeah, some of it is some of the tunes that I've cut are again are a few of them are some cover tunes that would be like one of them is an old Otis Redding tune that I did that was really cool that I play in my list. It's just, I would say that it's like a retro soul sound, maybe. If you could go back, it's mature sounding. It's like well, I'm older now, and so it is mature sounding, and it sounds to me more. I think it carries. It's just. I think it's deeper. I think it's deeper a little bit than a lot of the other shit that I've thought about. You know, some of it's blues vibe. It's bluesy and retro soul and honest. I really wanted it to be honest. I feel like I'm getting older, so this.
It's kind of reflective.
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah. It's gotta mean more than just.
It sounds like it's fathoms more deep than your
previously.
Yeah, and I think you didn't let yourself off the hook for that easy one.
Yeah.
You're like, you know what? You're gonna pay for it now.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
Deep one, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now it's like, you know, now it might mean more now than ever.
There could be. Yeah. You never know.
And it's like, that's kind of why I'm just kind of like been just kind of, like you say, I hate to say cruise control, because you're still burning gas.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure I might not have worded that well.
But
I didn't want to discount what you're doing, because obviously you've got your nose to the grindstone. You're meeting and exceeding all of these performance states.
Yeah.
But there have been some other elements in the past that you had to work towards that are missing now, and I wondered how it kind of, it sounds like it puts you more in a comfortable area,
Yeah.
you know.
I
And
feel
you had
like-
made it a point to me last
Yeah.
episode to mention that you felt like that was a necessary element. Stepping outside of your comfort zone was
Yeah.
a necessary element to be a well-rounded musician.
Yeah, I believe so, man.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I'm like, that's why I really am like, that's kind of, that's where I want to go with it. Like, I want to continue. I know in order for me to continue to like, on my path of go and play music, I always like to grow. I'm always writing words, trying to create a new song, or not even just that, but even like hearing a cover song that I go like, wow, man, I want to learn this song. And so learning the words and what is my thumbprint going to be on that? Or like I'm about to go back into the studio here in a little minute, and there's I have a few friends of mine who have written some cool songs that I want to go cut. I want to go cut
Cool.
their tunes because it's kind of what all of these. It's what a lot. I mean, if you're trying to put out a bunch of music, it's what Ray Charles did, or what, any of these, even the Stones, they picked up these blues. They picked up some different kind of tunes.
Yeah.
One of their last records they put out was their blues record that was like so killer a few years ago, where they just put their thumbprint on these blues tunes, and it was like, wow. I know that wherever I'm going with the music, that it's going to be roots oriented. It's going to be real, and I want it to be. I want it to be easy on the ears for people, man. I want people to hear it and go, "Wow, man, it's in a world of there being a bunch of shit music out there. I want people to listen to this and go, wow, it's chordal, it's musical, it's got a message, it's got, it's hard to stand back. It's hard to stand back from your own material and look at it and ask, does it have the it factor? Does it have it?
Yeah, I find that impossible.
Yeah,
I'm my own worst critic, so I might as well just be dogging myself.
Right.
I can't. Yeah, I'm too involved to be unbiased.
I have to be in a room, and that's what I've been doing. I've been going to one of my friend's place and cutting with him, and I have to ask him. I'm like, dude, where are you at? What does this make you feel like?
Yeah.
Because I know what it makes me feel like, but I want to know.
These gigs that you're going to perform at, do you ever use the crowd then and there as a litmus?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll play some tunes on them.
Does it help you? Has it been
I think
helping
so.
you? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. A lot of times, like
To read them, I'm saying though, to get their reaction and say, okay, whether or not it has the it factor, maybe I can read the crowd and see how they feel about it.
Yeah. A lot of times, man, the crowd gets it. A lot of times it just passes them by as something else. So I think it takes a few times, like, to send, to send someone a song and go, man, please listen to this. Please really put an ear on it. Tell me exactly what the fuck you think about it. Don't be afraid to hurt my feelings, because I've heard it. I've heard this song 1,000 more times than you'll ever listen to it. You see, as an artist and people, that's what a lot of people don't understand. It's like when when you're creating music and you're massaging it to bring it to its best life. You have heard it 1,000 more fucking times than anyone will ever listen to it.
Yeah.
And so it's like you really over and over and over and over and over again. It becomes, I've kind of got to a place in my life where that part of recording it bums me out a little bit because
Yeah, the repetition is going to make you kind of indifferent.
Yeah, by
you
the
know?
time I'm done with it, I feel like I'm kind of done with it.
Yeah,
You know?
I know the feeling. Trust me.
And it's
Yeah.
still for everybody else to go and listen to it, be fresh on them.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
like, you know, it's like,
I know the feeling.
you know,
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, but I truly believe though that I would say this, that I really hope that the world and that the people who dig music and the people who pay attention, that the world and the people out there have not heard the best of me yet, which is, I really hope so.
Yeah,
Because,
that's a good goal.
you know what I mean?
That's a good general direction.
It is. I always want to give a little fresh breath of air to somebody when
Sure.
it comes to music, you know. And in each moment, I mean, you know, when it comes to live performance too, I feel like, again, I always want to go out and thinking that there's no us and them, there's only we.
Sure.
That I don't talk at an audience. I kind of connect within an audience. I want to bring people in so that they're on my team.
Sure.
You
Get 'em
know?
involved.
Yeah, keep them kind of digging and listening, and to me, I think that's important because then they also belong to it too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, we all want to belong to something.
Sure.
You know, and
Yeah.
so it's like, yeah.
Tell people where they can find you online, at least, so that they
Yeah.
can trail you to your
okay.
next performances.
So, so on Facebook, there is the Chris Leblanc Band. You can like that on Facebook. And then on Instagram, there's Chris Leblanc Band on Instagram. And then right now, I'm rebuilding my website, and it's almost done.
Oh, good.
Which will be chrisleblancband.com.
Okay.
Also, thechrisleblancband.com. We have that domain as well.
Good.
So if you put in thechrisleblancband.com or chrisleblancband.com, you will be able to go find all things, and that'll my website will take you to all streaming places. It'll take you show dates, YouTube channel,
Good. Yeah.
all these things we've been working on. Right now, I'm just really we're trying to connect all the dots.
It's a lot.
and
It's
there's a lot of
scattered.
dots.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know.
Sure. But I think that once your website is up, that'll definitely be a valuable resource because it sounds like, and I don't know, but it sounds like you might be releasing some music fairly soon.
Exactly,
so.
exactly. That's why all of this is going to all kind of coincide.
Sure.
I would imagine here within a month, my website will be up and you'll be able to get connected. Then there'll be some links to merchandise. I'm going to try some new things with merchandise, you know, because through the years I've sold shirts and CDs and blah blah blah. We want to do something with an online store that you can go on and choose the shirt you want, choose the logo you want, and then it goes to my guy. They print it up, and the store mails it directly to.
Cool.
So you know that'd be kind of cool to. I think for people to be able to choose what they want.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about choices now. So
Yeah.
you know.
Cool. All right, man. Well, I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Dave.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
you so much, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you, man.
All right.